Good morning, guys. So I hope you can see me, hear me clearly. Yeah. Awesome. Great. Awesome. So let's begin our session for today. Keep your back and neck straight. Sit comfortably wherever you are. And very gently close your eyes. Start observing your breath. Watch the natural flow of your breathing as you inhale and exhale. Slowly shift the attention to the body. Take a few moments to align your body and to make sure that your body is comfortable and stable. Gently come back to the breath. Begin to deepen your breathing. Go for slow, long, and deep inhalations. Slow, long, and deep exhalations. Relax your mind and prepare yourself for Om chanting. We will chant Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shantis. Take a deep inhalation for Om. 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 Shanti. 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 Just observe the vibrations. Turn your palms together and begin to rub your palms together. keep your palms on your eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, begin to open up your eyes and come back with a big smile. Namaste to everyone. Let us begin today's session. So today we are going to cover a very interesting topic, right? I have often talked about yoga being a way of living, and today we are going to discuss a few points that you can add into your lifestyle. Okay, so how can you change your lifestyle? So today our topic of discussion is yoga as a lifestyle practice.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Before I saw at the WhatsApp chat that there's an assignment for this class and the other one, and I am now splitting my teacher training to 2 months because I have to work in between, and I was a little afraid. It is still allowed to join the live classes next month, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can.
Okay, so that was everything.
So you have 3 months to complete your entire course. And the assignment was for the previous batch. Actually, I didn't give them the assignments at the end of the month. So I posted them a little bit late. So yesterday's assignment for philosophy and pranayam was for the previous batch.
Okay, thank you.
So you guys will get your assignments at the end of this month.
Okay.
Awesome. Right. Okay, so yoga as a lifestyle practice. So first thing, lifestyle is your way of living, right? So however you conduct yourself each and every day, all the activities and the routines that add to your day and hence when continued for a long period of time add to your habits, right? Those things are actually lifestyles, right? And we have our own lifestyles depending on where we live, what the temperature is, what facilities are available. So when we talk of lifestyle, there are different ways in which you can change your lifestyle. And the few topics we will cover under this will tell you the yogic point of view. Okay, so from yoga's point of view, what is the best way to conduct yourself, which will help you to experience more harmony in your life, right? And have good health, right? Have proper stamina to make the most of your day. Be as productive as you can from your day, right? So apart from, of course, all the other practices, these few things you guys can incorporate these things in your life, right? And you will see that whatever you are doing, that thing, the result will change now because you have made other changes as well, right? So the first topic of discussion, which is one of the most important topics, is actually food, right? Ahar, Ahara. Ahar or food, right? So no matter what you start, if you want to work on your fitness, be it physical or mental, emotional, spiritual, right? Food plays a really, really important role, right? Because it is your outermost layer, right? And then it is going to impact all other layers as well, right? In a lot of places and in a lot of religions also, it is believed that this is the temple, right? Our body is a temple, right? So you have to take care of it. And food is the, uh, you know, uh, thing that has a lot of impact on how your body is, right? So from a modern point of view, food should be, you know, you should have a balanced diet. So your food should be balanced. So all the vitamins, minerals, proteins, carbohydrates, all these things should be a part of your diet, right? So whatever quantity is best suited, right? And for your height, your weight, right? So you should, that is the modern approach, right? Right now, I'm not talking about the yogic approach. So modern approach says that the diet should be balanced, right? So suppose some of your students come to you and they're like, okay, we are just doing the asana, right? And we don't want to go into the yogic approach, right? So at least you can nudge them towards a more holistic diet, right? So in modern terms, you can at least explain it to them that yes, your diet should be balanced. Everything should be added in your diet, right? Now, if somebody is looking for something more, so sometimes your students will look for more. And this question will come up a lot for you guys, right? So whenever somebody starts the classes, they always ask, what is the most ideal food for us or how we should consume our food. So the yogic approach also has a set of things to say on the diet, right? Ayurveda is different. I'm telling you the yogic approach. Okay. So when you look at the yogic approach, the concept of mit ahar, MITAHARA. Mit means sweet, okay? And ahar means food, right? So now I said modern approach says balanced diet, but over here yoga is saying go and eat sweet food, right? So why sweet has been said, I will tell you a few reasons for it. Okay, so first and most important reason why this term myth is used. So sweet means it's trying to signify how many times you should chew your food. Okay, so generally we don't chew our food enough times, right? Because we don't have that kind of time or we don't have that kind of patience, right? So we'll see when you chew the food properly, it becomes sweet in your mouth, right? There is a major part of your digestion process that takes place in the mouth itself, right? And most of us, we do not allow the saliva to mix properly with the food. We eat so quickly and then we gulp the food, right? So the digestion which is supposed to take place in the mouth is not taking place in the mouth. Now the food goes in, and that is why a lot of people have digestive issues also. Why? Because the first and the most important process is not being uh, fulfilled, right? So you should at least chew your food 32 times, okay? One bite 32 times, right? And how many bites do we take generally? Very, very small amount, right? Not even 10. I don't think we even chew that food 10 times. We just chew it 3-4 times and then we gulp the food, right? So these days in modern days, alkaline food is becoming very famous, right? And uh, you don't need alkaline food, right? Your saliva does that thing, right? Your food will capture that quality if you chew your food properly, right? So all the digestion that is supposed to take place in the mouth is not taking place. And when you chew the food these many times, so today, guys, your experiment is going to be on food. Okay, whatever I tell you about food, your meals till your next class, all the meals that you have, try to incorporate these things. Okay, so now next time when you sit for your meal, right, try to chew it each and every bite at least 10 to 15 times. Okay, 32 is very, I know it's a high number. Okay, maybe we wouldn't even have the time to take that amount of time, right, to give that amount of time to each and every bite, but at least we can improve the number, right? Second thing, when you, the other reason why you see a lot of people gulping is because, again, the food hasn't broken down. When you chew the food 32 times in your mouth, right, the food will go in very naturally, right? So even though you might still feel the need to gulp, right, but it wouldn't be with the same amount of pressure, right? If your food is not broken down properly, then you will have to apply force in this process, right? The food should go in also naturally, right? The second reason why we call mit ahar in from the point of view of yoga is because the food is eaten for survival, not for taste. Okay, so you will see that generally, when you go, especially in Indian tradition, right, when we go to our temples, right, generally the we call it prasad, right? So generally, whatever we offer to God, it's sweet in nature, right? You will see most of the things that we offer to God, they are sweet in nature, right? So it is as if you are consuming the food as an offering to God, right? So your food, one thing, should be prepared and should be, eaten in such a way that it is an offering to God, right? And second of all, the term myth over here is used to create this sense of detachment. The food is only taken for the survival of your body and not for taste, right? So this is a very surprising concept. Why? Because today most of the world, they are eating food according to their taste, right? They don't see the impact on their body, right? And all the advertisements, everything is, driving us to eat, try something new, eat something new. And we are not seeing the impact the food is having on our state of mind, on our body, right? So it is not our fault also entirely. The entire system is designed in this way that we are, running towards whatever pleases our sense, right? You will see that food is very easily available, especially if you live in a city, you can get it delivered to your home, right? It's so easily accessible that we don't think twice before ordering something in, right? Because we miss the taste, right? So there is attachment to the food. So suppose one day you want to eat something very badly, right? And you order it, right? And then it gets delayed or the order cancels, right? So the person who was supposed to deliver, they cancel the order, right? They just say, we are not delivering, right? See the amount of suffering you face, right? And I am not free from all of this. So let me just make this very clear in the beginning only. If you guys think I am free from this, even I am not free from this. Because the attachment of food, it goes away very late. No? It will stay with you. Food will grip you, nothing else will grip you, right? Food will grip you very easily, right? If you want to go and do meditation also, you will think twice. Why? Because is the food going to be okay or not okay? Am I going to get what I want to eat or will I not get that thing? Oh, there will be restriction on my food, right? So, our entire mind functions in that way. We are so attached to the food that we consume, right? So, in order to uh, set a reminder, right, that this food is just being taken for a sense of survival and there should be detachment from the food, right? The concept of mit ahar comes in, right? So the food should also be agreeable. That is another, right? So now you would have seen a lot of people, it's a very common example, right? So you will see a lot of people, they read the, ideal charts, they see what is the best food that they want to eat. And despite their dislike for that food, they consume it, right? And they consume it, they don't like consuming it, right? It's healthy, it's everything. But because they don't find it agreeable, that thing doesn't, give them that amount of nutrition, right? So the food should also be agreeable. Now, this doesn't mean that you, like right now, like I said, no, that we are only solely functioning according to our taste. So maybe you will go to the other extreme. So now you will be like, I will only have this, I will only have this, and this is the best for me. But don't force yourself. Why? Because it should also be agreeable. It will do you no good if you are constantly, hating the food that you are consuming, right? Just for the sake of maintaining your health. It has to be something which also, aligns with your mind. So slowly train your mind. So suppose earlier you used to go out and have junk food 5 times in a week, right? So now try to come down to 4. Don't directly jump to 1, or don't directly jump to 2. You will have to go step by step, because if you take the extreme jump, then you will again jump back very easily, right? So you have to train your mind very slowly, right? Because for so many years the training is done differently, right? So you cannot expect that one day you get to know, right, and you completely shift, right? You have to understand how you have to keep your, you have to be your mind's friend, right? And you have to take it along. You cannot leave it behind, right? Because then what happens is that for a few days you will follow the ideal diet, and then suddenly you will go back and have all the junk food, right? So try to work according to your own pace. If you feel your will is very strong, you can shift from 5 days to 3 or 2 days, then go ahead and do it, right? So you should know your own capacity, basically, right? And if you feel that right now 5 is okay, but I just want to be aware that, okay, 5 times I am going. So start with just the awareness, okay? Then come to 4 when you feel ready, 4 times in a week. Then come down step by step, no? So slowly, very slowly, you have to work on the diet, because our attachment to food is a lot, okay? Right? So, next thing, next very important thing, which is highlighted in the concept of myth ahar, is the quantity. So right now I talked of the quality of the food, right? Now I'll talk of the quantity of the food, right? So myth ahar, this concept says that half of your stomach should be filled with food, okay? Okay, so out of, if I divide my stomach in 4 portions, then half of it should be filled with food, 1/4 should be left for water, and 1/4 is left for air, or you can say 1/4 of the stomach should be empty, right? So if you can slowly come down to this thing, it will highly benefit you, right? Especially in your yogic practices. So right now you are doing all of these practices. So currently, for you, if you consume your food in this way, it is going to help you in your practices as well. So earlier, if you had, 4 portions, right, in your meal, so now come down to 2. Okay. So like you had 4 chapatis, right? So now half. 4, if 4 is filling your stomach completely, if you're eating till here, when you know have 4 portions, then come down to 2, okay, which will allow all of the processes to take place much more properly, one thing. And other thing is that you will see that the body doesn't need that much food. So when you eat till your throat, right? So you feel very sleepy, no? You don't feel like doing anything, right? So when you only fill half of your stomach, you will see that your productivity and activeness is staying, right? And your body is also able to digest the food more efficiently when you take half of what you are consuming right now, right? So half the stomach should be filled with food, 1/4 is left for water. Don't consume water while you are eating. Okay, at least half an hour gap minimum should be given before and after. Even before, go for like, if you have had water now, then go for your meal half an hour, minimum half an hour later, half an hour to 1 hour, right? And then same thing after your food, but that space is actually left for the consumption of water, right? And then 1/4 of your stomach should always be empty. Okay, so as you proceed, you can consider making these changes, right, in your way of consuming food. All right, any doubts so far? No doubts? Okay, so I'll quickly focus on some more practices that you can add. So first thing is okay, so first thing is the uh, prayer or chanting of some mantra, right? So I will tell you why this is done. So if you see in a lot of traditions, right, in the Western side, they say grace right before they eat the food, and in Indian tradition, we generally chant mantras before we eat the food, right? So one thing is we are when in Indian tradition, I will tell you, so we offer a part of the food to the god. First thing we do this thing, right? So first thing is this, right? And then we chant the mantra. When we offer the food, we chant some mantra, right? So why are these two practices done? Because when the food comes in front of you, right? So sometimes, suppose you go to some place to eat, right? And you really love something in that place, okay? And you just ordered, but somebody who is just sitting beside you, they may give the same order and their food has come, right? So you look at that food and there is watering that takes place in the mouth, right? So saliva gets produced, right? So by the time your food comes in, so you are ready to eat, all set to eat, right? So generally you will see people when they go, they sit and they eat, they don't take a pause in between. They don't look at their food and then start eating. They immediately start eating, right? So what happens is the body doesn't get time to produce the saliva. Okay. So in ancient times, what we did as a form of respect, first thing, we offered a part of whatever we are consuming to God. Okay. And then the chanting of the mantra was done. Why? Because the food was in front of you. So all of your senses were capturing the food, right? You were able to smell the food. Your eyes were looking at what you were about to consume, right? So what this did was this immediately started the watering in the mouth or the production of the saliva in the mouth, right? So when you say the prayer or chant a mantra, it gives this pause or gap. Okay. Now I'm not asking you to chant a particular mantra or say a particular prayer. It's totally up to you. If you just want to look at your food, take that time to observe. So take a few seconds before you start eating. Okay. Just look at it, allow your mouth to water. Okay. Second reason why I will emphasize on the chanting of mantra or saying some grace in general before you eat is because uh, I told you guys everything has prana, no? So your food also has some energy in it, right? So when you are saying the mantra, right? So that energy gets captured by your food, okay? And then you consume that food, okay? So if you don't want to believe me, it's okay. You can try, you can experiment yourself. You can do some chanting or some prayer before eating. You will after a few days you will start seeing that this thing is happening, right? So even science has proven this thing. So especially with water, no, water captures energy very easily, right? So if you go and immediately continuously tell your water that it is very good, it is very good, so the water molecules, they align in that way, right? And that same water will do you very good, right? And if you go to that same water bottle and curse that water, right, and then you consume it. So the water molecules, this is science. I'm not talking about any spiritual thing right now. This is science. The water molecules align themselves in that way where they harm you, right? So the alignment of the molecules, it actually changes, right? When you say something or speak something. So same is the water, you will be able to see very easily, right? So you can try this experiment also for 15-20 days. Keep 2 water bottles, right? One you go and love every day, one you go and curse every day. You will see the water changes. Okay, so this experiment you can try for yourself, but even your food captures the energy, right? So if you say something positive, if you take out the time to give respect to whatever is giving energy to you, then the food is going to capture that energy and your body will be nourished in the same way, right? With that food. Okay, so you are basically, when you do these things, you are preparing the body for the digestion process only, right? Okay. All right. So next I will tell you how you should sit. Okay. Right. So whenever you eat your food, try to sit in a cross-legged position and try to sit on the ground. Okay. Don't sit on a chair. Don't sit on something which is, above the ground. Try to sit on the ground. Right. It is best to consume your food when you are sitting on the ground. So you guys, if you have so much furniture in your house, you can go ahead and you can throw it. Okay. Or if you just moved in somewhere, don't buy furniture, right? Because staying connected to the ground is very, very important. Okay, when you eat your food, right? Try to sit in a cross-legged position, so this will stop the blood flow in the lower part of the body, and it will enhance the digestion, right? Okay. So when you sit and you eat your food, then again try to lean a little bit forward when you eat the food. So this will immediately, place some pressure on the stomach, and now you will not have to make an effort to reduce your food into half. Already there would be pressure on the stomach, so you will consume less. Okay, so these are tricks and tactics. Okay, not everybody will be able to, reduce their food. So you can change the way in which you sit. If you lean forward, if you even right now, wherever you're sitting, if you lean forward, if you see, there is pressure on your stomach. Okay, so either you can lean forward and just eat your food, or you can even bring your left leg up like this. Okay, so keeping the left leg up, if you are able to sit like this and then eat your food, right? So my stomach is over here. So when I keep my left leg up like this, so you will see in a lot of places people sit like this, and right? Because this places more pressure on the stomach. So again, you will consume less food when you sit like this. All right. So whichever one you find the most comfortable for you, you can go ahead and adopt that posture. Okay. Then your next thing, always try to consume your food with your hand. Okay. So this has a lot of reasons, but one of the most commonly understood reason is that the temperature that your hand can bear is the temperature that the mouth can bear, right? So sometimes you will see, in that thing, it's so warm and it burns their tongue, right? Because they were never in contact with the actual temperature of the food they are consuming, right? So when you use your hands to eat the food. One thing is temperature. You will be aware of the temperature. Second thing, you will feel more connected to the activity because now you are engaging more senses, right? So the sense of awareness that should remain when you consume your food, it gets one more, point of connection, right? So again, if you have, you know, spoons and forks and knives in your house, you can go ahead and throw them out. Okay, you don't need them. All right. So try to go for again any kind of material which is organic or natural, right? Be it the plate or the whatever you are using to keep the food, and also even to cook the food, right? Go for natural material, right? Or at least try to eliminate aluminium, right? So if you have containers which are made out of aluminium, again, you guys can go and throw them away, right? So most of the things that you worked so hard to acquire, I'm asking you to throw them away because they were not required, right? Okay. So next thing, so food is a topic I really like talking about. So I think it will extend for a while right now. Okay. So next thing, which I personally also believe a lot in, and I have seen this thing also happen, is not only the state of your mind when you are consuming the food, but also the state of your mind when you are making the food. Okay. So if you cook your own food, right? Just be careful of the state of your mind when you are cooking food, right? If you are absent minded, if you are angry, if you are irritated, again, when you cook the food, that energy is going to get captured. That is why I said before eating a food, chanting mantra or doing saying grace is very good. Why? Because every time you cannot control who is cooking your food, or every time you cannot control the state of the mind of the person who is cooking the food, or even your state of mind. Sometimes it's not possible, no? So at least whatever food comes to you, you take your time and add some energy to it, right? When you chant the mantra, right? But if you happen to cook your own food, or if you happen to have control over that aspect, then just make sure that the state of the mind of the person who is cooking is good. Sometimes, when somebody is really close to you, they cook the food, they are angry. So suppose your mom is very angry, no? One day she's very angry, she's very irritated. I am doing all the work in the house, nobody cares, nobody does this, nobody does that, I have to do everything, right? And she is very irritated, right? And then she makes the lunch or the dinner, right? And then you taste that food, you can taste the anger in that food, right? And you don't say anything that day. Why? Because she's already very angry, right? But her anger, her irritation is captured in the food, right? In that same way, if you are very close to someone, say your parents only, okay? So your mom, right? And you come after a lot of days, you come back home. This happens a lot with me, when I go back home after a lot of days, I find that food of my home so tasty, right? So, because at that point of time when I go back, everybody is cooking and making the food because I have come back after so many days. So there's so much love that is added, right? So somebody really close to you, they cook for you. That food becomes tasty. They followed the same recipe, right? So many people are following that recipe, right? But why is the food so tasty? Right? Because there is one ingredient only you can add, right? It is the ingredient of love. It makes food so tasty. No? Whenever somebody at least cooks the food with so much love, or sometimes my sister. So when I go back, so my sister, she actually feeds me, right? And I find that food so tasty, right? I have never tasted that kind of food anywhere, right? Why? Because she does it with so much love, right? When you cook food for someone, or when you feed someone, next time be very careful. What are you adding? Are you adding your anger? Are you adding your frustration? Or are you adding your love? Right? Then, if the salt is a little bit up or down, right, it won't matter. Nobody will notice because you added the main ingredient in your food, which is the sense of love, right? So when a mom cooks for her child, that food is completely different, right? When you cook for your friend, that food is completely different. Why? Because it is varying amount or degrees of love. I don't believe that spices can make too much difference, but this thing will make like the most difference when you cook the food. Okay, so next time when you cook the food, again take some time to calm your mind down so that you can cook the food with more mindfulness, right? So if you happen to have a lot of little accidents while you are cooking, cutting your hand, right, or burning your hand, right, these things will drastically go down because you are being more mindful when you cook your food. Okay, so these are a few things, right? So I'm going to add a few more things to this, but these are a few things that you guys can immediately begin to add to whatever you are, right? So however you are consuming your food, you can immediately start working on this thing, right? Next thing is, when you are consuming the food, always just focus on consuming the food, right? So most of us, we talk, yeah, we interact with everybody around us, right? We watch something, right? Or we play something, right? So immediately the mind gets distracted. So if you are watching a movie, if you are listening to a particular type of music, some music you have played, so we are very emotional beings. Yeah, human beings, they capture emotion very easily, right? So when watch a movie and at the end, something happens and you start crying, right? Why? Because it has the ability to capture the emotion, right? So when you're eating the food, again, your emotional status and the state of the mind is very important, right? So suppose you are watching a movie, this is very, very common. Okay, so people generally thing, right? So their entire attention gets focused on that thing or that conversation, right? So when they eat the food, sometimes they choke, right? Or sometimes they cough a lot. Why? Because the attention was totally diverted, right? And when you speak, right, then again, the chances of choking, they become very, very high, right? So next time when sit to eat your food, try to sit, either if you are sitting with everybody, have this understanding that no conversation should take place, right? Or minimum conversation, at least we can go further, right? And try to focus on your food when you are eating it. Why? Because again, it will enhance the taste. So right now we miss out on so many tastes, right? Because we are completely lost doing all other things when we are eating our food, right? So you will be able to understand the taste of your food better, what you like, what you don't like, right? So all of these things, these will start happening when you give more attention to the activity that you are doing, right? So this I discussed in the beginning also, perfection in action, right? So you are kind of going for perfection in action when you consume your food. Okay, so next time you have to take care of this thing also. And it is very sad, all of our lives we only work for one thing, right? Only so that there is warm food on our table, right? And when we go and sit and eat that food, we distract ourselves. We don't take out the time to eat that food. So all the things you are doing in life, it's actually for one basic necessity, which is food, right? And then you don't take out time for it. So now start changing this thing. No, give 1 hour to your food minimum. Okay, if you start eating in this way, you will see at least 1 hour you will take to complete your food, right? Because you eat more slowly, more mindfully, right? Again, the state of the mind in which you are cooking and the state of the mind in which you are eating, both are very, very essential, right? So if you are somebody who are very angry or agitated or hurt, right? So at that point of time, try to avoid the consumption of food. Okay. When you settle down, when you calm your mind, then go and have your food. It is much better if you go for this thing, right? Because when you eat in that state of mind, then again the digestion gets impacted. So, indigestion takes place when you are in a very agitated state of mind or you are very stressed. So, take some time out, right? Do some breathing and then go and eat your food. Okay. So, food should always be consumed with a very calm state of mind. Right? Next thing, try to fix the timing of your meals as much as possible. Why? Because our bodies and the human mind is designed in this way that it is used to the routines, right? So if you keep changing the time of your meals, right, then again there is an entire process that is taking place. When you start, when suppose you eat your breakfast at 9 a.m. in the morning, right? So at 9 a.m. you will feel so hungry, right? If you skip that time, that thing will be gone. But at that time, every day, you will feel very, very hungry. Why? Because you have given that training. The HCl begins to produce in the stomach, right? At that point of time, because it gets ready for the food to come in and digestion to take place, right? So you will see a lot of people who have issues of acidity, right? It happens, it begins because they are not able to fix the timing of their meals, right? And then the acid is produced in the stomach and they don't put in the food, right? And then it leads to hyperacidity, right? So try to fix the timing of your meals, which will help you to, overall the system will be ready, right? That okay, I have to eat food right now. Yes, so your body also triggers you naturally, right? Like when you go to sleep, there is a natural trigger. When you wake up, there is a natural trigger. So in that same way, when it feels hungry, it sends those triggers, right? So you will hear some voices that come from your stomach, right? You will have saliva production also when you feel very hungry. Observe this thing, right? So allow the body to give you the natural triggers, right? If you keep changing, the body will get confused, right? Yes. So, but I will also say one more thing as an addition. So some people, they really keep their mind rigid, and if they have fixed a timing, if they don't get food at that point of time, they get very irritated, right? Or sometimes what happens is you might have a heavier breakfast, right? So by lunchtime you don't feel hungry, right? So again, always listen to your body, right? So fixing the time doesn't mean that you have to always consume the food when that time, when the clock comes to that time, right? Sometimes you will have one meal which is very heavy, right? So till that next time you won't feel hungry. So listen to your body. It's only when you are hungry that you should consume food. So a lot of uh, people are functioning in a mechanical way. They have fixed their timings, right? And even if they are not hungry, they are eating food at that point of time, right? So always allow your body to feel hungry first, right? And then go and eat the food. Okay. So you have to basically, nothing is set in stone, right? You have to listen to your body, right? Whenever it comes to food, always listen to your body. The remaining portion of food I will cover tomorrow. There is some more left. Right? Any doubts, guys, from today's session?
Ma'am, I just wanted to know about the chanting portion once again. You said that chant or prayer before eating food because we don't know who's making our food. Sometimes, even if we go to a restaurant and, we're eating or somebody's place. So I just wanted to know about the chanting part more. Suppose we're in a public place or we are in a situation where it is not possible. So, what all other ways we can do it?
Yeah, so see, you will see like it's not necessary that you chant out loud. Okay, so you can just close your eyes over there and mentally do that chanting, right? Or maybe whisper. So everywhere it won't be possible to chant the mantra out loud. So at least you can whisper. Basically, you are taking that time gap and your intention really counts. Okay. So when you are taking this time out for the whispering or mental chanting, then again that energy is going to reach the food. So you don't have to worry about that.
And how the chanting is done, like I just wanted to know that what exactly do we say, because a lot of time people just say thank you and they start eating food.
It's
So
totally up
that's
to you. It's totally up to you. Whatever you prefer, you can go ahead and incorporate that.
I have a question as well. Did you already say how many times you should eat per day? Was it like the Western 3 times, or more 2 times, or 1 time, or?
Okay, so generally it depends on the level of your activity also, how many times you should eat. So if currently like you take 3 meals, okay, so continue with 3 meals, just adjust the quantity, right? So work on one thing at one time. All right. So right now, it you are just beginning on this thing. When you go deeper, then I will answer this question more deeply for you. But currently, what you can do is, however many times you're eating, it doesn't matter, right? You can go ahead and start adjusting the quantity of the food. Slowly the number of meals, all of these things, again you have to listen to your body. That is like the main point that I really want to emphasize on when I even finish this class, that always listen to your body. So sometimes you will feel like eating in 1 or 2 hours only, right? So maybe taking something is all right. Okay, don't make your body suffer. Okay, or you can consume fruits in that time rather than going for a proper meal. You can go ahead, take some coconut water, go for these kind of things in between if you feel very very hungry in between. Okay, yeah. Any other doubts that I can take?
I just wanted to ask that there are many people who talk about, that eating every 2 hours in like the small quantities that you talked about. So is that a correct way of eating, or it depends from person to person?
See, for a beginner, I would say again, listen to your body. Okay, so it totally depends on you, how when you are feeling hungry, and again, this will require a proper analysis of what your activity is, and depending on that, what kind of food you should consume. Right. So there is no right or wrong way, but there you just have to be connected to your body. Tomorrow, I will tell you a little bit about fasting also, why fasting is good. So then maybe I can answer your question more deeply, why people fast, because you are asking about a less time gap. No, so I'll tomorrow take some time. Just remind me tomorrow. I will talk a little bit about fasting as well, which will help you to understand the time variation, and uh, I think that will be a better way to answer your question, right?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Great. So let's end our session for today. Sit comfortably, keep your back and neck straight. Gently close your eyes. We will chant Om one time, followed by 3 Shantis. Inhale deeply for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Join your palms together, gently bow down. We'll just begin our day with a sense of gratitude. Begin to rub your palms together. Place your palms on your eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, begin to open up your eyes and big smile. I will see all of you for your pranayam class in the afternoon. Take care, guys, and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.